What's up, y'all? This your boy Pharaoh 40220. Yo, I finally made it out of California. I'm rolling across Arizona over here by Lake Havasu. I got a suggestion from John Walsh, and he wanted me to talk about some things. I can talk about what I know. Last year I didn't do. Actually, hold on one second. Okay, last year, 2015. Was really when I got back into leasing. Well, I got back into leasing in 2014, but it was with Celadon. So I didn't have any real ideas about the rates and stuff. I didn't find that out until 2015 when I can actually control what I do. All right. So I can only talk a little bit about rates. Some of the things, though, about load management, load assignments, trip planning, pre-tripping, things like that, I can talk about those things. Talk about the super singles versus the duals, and then like some of the biggest things that I got going on here in as being an owner operator. Okay, so I'm gonna tackle first the load assignments. Okay, when I did a video on how to pick your loads and stuff, and if that load is going to pay you any money or anything like that, well, that still kind of stands, with what I say, that if you are able to pick a load, break it down, and see how much money you're going to make off that load, then you know for a fact that, you're going to make some money off that load, okay? Now, freight rates change a lot. People actually, used to be able to get paid good money going East Coast, West Coast, then the freight rates drop. There's several different reasons why different people have different theories on it, but, I just look at it and say the rates are saturated right now because we have a surplus of drivers, and these companies that are out here that are putting all these lease drivers up, because lease operators, the company makes more money off of you. You're paying for the fuel, you're paying for the maintenance, and, they're advancing you money and they're taking it back from you. So then, therefore, now, you have more money coming out of your check than what's necessary, okay? You need to get the company out of your check. You need to get them out of there. So if you can get your own fuel card, purchase your own fuel, and then not have the company take that money out of your check, that's more money into your pocket. Number two, if you get good rates, which means if you stick with the ones where you're averaging about $1.50 to $2 a mile, everybody thinks that this $2 a mile is the iconic truck driver's rate. That's not the iconic truck driver rate. $2 a mile. Yeah, it sounds good, but how much is your truck costing you per mile? If you don't know, if your truck is costing you $1.96 a mile, and you're making $2 a mile, that ain't paying you nothing but 4 cents a mile. How is that $2 supposed to be the magical number? You need to know how much your truck is costing you per mile. And the only way to figure that out is to take your expenses, each expense that you have. If it's a weekly expense, then you add them up together, divided by how many miles you want to drive, and then you include fuel in that. You include your fuel costs and your expenses, and you divide it by the total number of miles that you're driving. That's going to tell you what your per mile is. If you break it down to, let's just say, all right, give you an example. My fuel cost for the week is $1,000. Okay, my expenses is $106 a day times 7 days. So that's $742 plus my fuel cost of $1,000. That's $1,742. That's what my expenses are. Okay. Now I divide that by, say, 2,800 miles, what I ran for the week. My truck is costing me 62 cents per mile. Okay, so now 62 cents per mile. All right, now if you go out and get a load and it's paying you $1.48 a mile times 2,800 miles, you're going to gross $4,144. Okay? $4,144. Okay? Now, you subtract your $1,752 from that. That means you should have a profit of $2,392. That sounds good. It really does. But here's the problem, all right? In my case, Mercer, if that load is paying me $41.44 for the week, they're going to take half of that and give it to me up front. So now, off top, they're giving me $2,072 up front. Well, $2,072 up front. I'm going to subtract my $752 that I need for fuel from that. I got $1,320 left over. Okay? So then now I go back, and on the other side of it, actually, I did that one backwards. I'm sorry. That $1,320 is what I should have on my pay, because that $752 should be what my expenses were. This $2,072 minus my $1,000 should leave me with 2,072 minus $1,000. That leaves me with $1,072 left over. Those two added together should still come out to $2,392, no matter how you look at it. The problem is, Mercer and all these other companies, they're looking at the total amount of money that they gave you minus your expenses. So they're going to look at it like this. You earned $4,144. We're going to take back our $2,072 that we gave you. We're going to take back our $752 for your expenses. Now you're left with a $1,320 paycheck. What happened to the other money that you had? It's still in your bank account. The $1,000 that you use, the difference of that $1,000 that you use, that $1,052 or whatever, or whatnot, is still $1,072 is still left over. But the problem is, it's in your pocket. You're not calculating that. So all you see is $1,320 on your paycheck, and you're wondering what the hell happened to your money. Well, that money that you got over there, plus that $1,072, is your $2,392. It's all sitting right there. Okay? Now, how do you alleviate that problem? How do you keep Mercer and other companies out of your pocket? Okay, number one, here it is, all right? You made $4,144. You take no money up front, none, okay? You don't take any money up front. You run your load and you deliver your load. At the end of the week, or at the end of the time, Mercer takes out $752. Now you got $3,392 left on your paycheck that's going to come to you home. That money is going to come home to you. All right. Now, if you have your own fuel card, and just saying, instead of using $1,000 for fuel, you actually only use $850. Let's just go there. You actually use $850. Okay, so then now, if you have a fuel card that has, just say $2,000 on it, you use $850 for fuel. Okay, so then now you got $33.92 that just got deposited into your business account. Okay, if you have a wife and kids at home, you take out let's just say you take out $1,200 to send to the house. Now you got $2,192 left over. $2,192 stays in that account. All right. So let's say you did the same load again. You did the exact same load coming back, except I ain't gonna say the exact same load. Let's just say you did a load paying $3,800. Well, actually, what was it? 2,800 miles. 2,800 miles times, let's say it was $1.35 a mile. That paid you $3,780. Well, you already know for your week of expenses, it cost you minus $752. So you got $3,028 coming back to you, okay? And now you're gonna add what you had in the bank before, which was $21.92. Okay? Now you have $5,220 in your bank account. You take out your $1,200 that you sent at home. Now you got $4,020 in your bank account. All right? And you used another $850 in fuel. All right? So now your fuel card is low. Your fuel card, you know, you had $2,000 on it. You use $850, you use $850, that's $1,700. So you got $300 left on your fuel card. So now you take $1,700 from your money here and move it back over to your fuel card. You got $2,320 in your business account. Your fuel is caught up. Your pay is at home. You have a steady paycheck coming every single week, which is $1,200. Okay? And you can do that by keeping these companies out of your paycheck. The only way to do that is you have to get your own fuel card. Now, there's a lot of companies out here that will offer you a fuel card without a DOT or MC number. You just need to have a tax ID number. You can get a line of credit or you can get pre-funded. Pre-fund your card to $2,000. Put in $1,000 every week that you want to be able to use. Build it up to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 is the max that you need on the card. Why is that? Because if you're spending $1,000 on fuel, there's 4 weeks in a month. There's $4,000. But there's some months that have 5 weeks, so you don't want to be out there a week without a fuel thing. So you got 5 weeks. It's got an extra $1,000 on there. The months that you have 4 weeks, you have an extra $1,000 in your account. Okay. So the max that you want to put on your card is $5,000. All right. Now you can go a whole month before putting your fuel money back on your card. Whereas companies like Mercer is taking it right out of your check instantly. All right. So that's one of the things about fuel that I'm working on right now, trying to do for myself. See how that works. All right. You know, we already talked about load assignments. We already talked about the fueling. The rates, we already talked about that. The rates are out of your control. There's nothing that you can do about these rates. You know, people complain about, you know, the $2 a mile, the $1 a mile, 94 cents a mile. It's only thing you can do is either take it or not take it. If you know what your rate is, how much money it's costing you to sit still, you know, is $105 a day really costing you anything? If you can get a load the next day paying $500 per day for the load? No. I would wait a day to get another load that's paying $500 a day. One day is not going to hurt you. What really would hurt you is if you just grab a load and do like I did. I grabbed the load out of Houston going to California because I wanted the next load. And that next load canceled on me because I didn't have the hours to get me there, and I had to stop early. And then when I got my time back, it was going to get me there the next morning. In the morning, when I needed to pick up, they didn't want to wait for me. So I ended up losing that load and the load after that. Oh well, it happens. All it did was just, you know, solidify my objective that now I'm going to be selective of who I choose to pick loads from. Because if they're going to be selective of who they're going to give the loads to and not give you an opportunity to come pick up loads or even get one after that, you know, then if you don't want me to pick up the load in the afternoon, then don't worry about calling me about picking up any other kind of load because I won't. You know, so basically what I'm getting at is like just be selective of the loads that you choose. If you don't want to take anything below $1.70 a mile, don't take nothing below $1.70 a mile. The freight's going to move anyway. You know, somebody's going to take it. It's, you know, whether you lose money on it or you gain money on it, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I made a little profit off that one, but it wasn't what I expected. So I'm kind of kicking myself in the behind right now. You know, and then on top of that, I had to buy some new tires. So, you know, that really hurt me right there too. Another thing is too, get your own maintenance account. Don't use the company's maintenance account situation to help you out. Because now you have to call them whenever you want your money. Get a business account, put your money in that business account, utilize your own business account to do your own maintenance. So what if you have to pay $600 for a tire? You're going to get that as a tax write-off. You know, companies like Mercer and Celadon and all these guys, they want you to go through them because they get that as a tax write-off. You don't. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why they don't give you the invoice. They don't give you the invoice to that requisition because they don't want you to get the tax write-off because they're paying for it. So don't do that. Get your own maintenance account, buy your own stuff, and then write it off yourself. You know, if you want a national account for tires, you can get your own national account. Call NATSC, NASTC. Call them and get your own fuel card. Call them and get your own tire account. You know, call OIDA. Call some of them. They got stuff to where you can do it yourself. You can call Bridgestone yourself. Give them your tax ID number, and you can set up your own national account. You are a company yourself. You know what I'm saying? And therefore, you may not get the bigger discounts like they get, but you can get some discounts. You know, you can get your own fuel discounts. You don't have to use theirs. You know what I'm saying? You know, the bottom line is this. If we start putting money back in our pockets by having write-offs, it takes away from the companies doing that. And that's what the companies don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that they get all the money from what we do, but we don't get to write it off. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start getting my own stuff. I'm going to start paying for my own maintenance. I'm going to start paying for everything myself. And I'm going to start buying my own fuel. And I'm going to start paying for my own tires and all my other stuff on my own. That way I can write off everything that I do. And I get the tax break on that and not them. You know, this is 2016, man. You got to work better for yourself and not for others. You know, and that's the number one thing that I'm going to start doing for me. Now, as far as the biggest struggle for an owner-operator, some people negotiate rates with the brokers and agents and stuff. I don't negotiate with them. I don't feel like I should have to negotiate with you. You know what I'm saying? Why should I have to pull your teeth to get more money off this load? If you can't give me a fair and reasonable rate on taking a freight, I just won't take it. You know, I'm not going to call you up and say, hey, man, I'll take this load if it was paying $1.50. Well, we can only go up to $1.30. Well, you know, all right, let's meet in the middle. Let's do $1.40. Man, I'm not trying to do all that. If you don't want to pay $1.50 for me to take the load, then find somebody else. Find somebody else. And hope that person gets that freight there on time. Hope that person gets that freight there in one piece. Hope that person gets that freight there without it being stolen. Hope that person doesn't piss the shipper off when they get there with their attitude or their body language or their body funk or whatever. Hope that person doesn't get DOT'd on the road and get shut down, and then now you got to call somebody else to get that freight. Because if you call me back to get the freight, I'm going up $1. If it was $1.50 and then you wanted to pay me $1.30 and then you settled with somebody for $1.40 and they didn't make it and you calling me back about it, about picking up that load, now it just went up to $2.40. That's how I would negotiate. And I don't think they would like that because they probably wouldn't call me back no more. So I don't negotiate with them. I look at it and say, whatever rate you put out there, if you believe it's fair and reasonable, then I'll do my numbers. And if it's fair and reasonable and I can make money, I'll take it. But if it's not, I won't take it. So there's the negotiation part out of the way. I don't negotiate. I'm like the United States when it comes to terrorism. We don't negotiate. I don't negotiate. The next thing is, the biggest thing that I see is not the truck payment. It's not the trailer payment. It's your maintenance. You know, your maintenance can hurt you, can hurt you, can hurt you. You know, it can really, really, really hurt you. And what I mean by that is, you know, I've had some friends of mine tell me I need to, you know, not wait so long to get PMs done or wait too long to get this done or whatever. But to me, no news is good news. If I'm riding down the road and the check engine light ain't on, man, I'm riding out. The check engine light comes on, I'm gonna take a look at it, see what's going on. But I also check my fluid levels. I make sure my fluid levels are good. You know, I check my tires, make sure they're good, but sometimes you gotta wait before you get tires because you don't have the money for it. Well, that's why I was saying, if you have your own maintenance money, set up in your own bank account, you got a business account that's got $5,000 sitting in there, you can go to the TA, you can go to the Petro, and they got a deal or special on tires. You know what I'm saying? If you're a member of OOIDA, you're paying for your tires, but you're going to get OOIDA's discount. You know what I'm saying? They're going to call you back and tell you, hey, this is what the OOIDA price is right here. That's what you're going to pay for. OOIDA's not paying for your tires. You are. So you're just going to get the discount with them. And then, you know, instead of costing $4,000, it might cost $2,000. Okay? So then now you pay $2,000. You have all your tires done. You get your receipt that shows the printout on how much your tires cost you. Don't let them tell you they got to wait until bill everything out. No, you sit right there and let them bill it out. Once they bill it out and they give you your breakdown, you take that information, take a picture of it, so that way if something happens to it in the truck, it's not damaged or nothing, you can still count it, send it to your tax representative, they can print it out right then and there. And now they have a copy of it right then and there. And then that tax rep can put that on your taxes for the year. You know, stop letting these companies pay for everything for us. That's what our number one problem is. Stop letting the company coerce you with, they got better fuel discounts because they get them in volume. Well, you know what? You can go get a secondary fuel card from certain companies that has just as big of a fuel discount, and you don't even have to pay the company for it. You don't even have to use that money. That's a ploy for the company to get half your money right back. You know, and that's what I'm doing. I've learned that the hard way. 2016, I'm doing my thing my way, and that's what it's about. Being an owner operator is doing it my way. You know, I'll let you know as I'm doing it, as it's working, to see if it works out like I'm supposed to. If it's working out like it's supposed to, I'll let you guys know, man. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. I'm gonna keep it brutally honest with you. You know, if it ain't gonna work, I'll tell you straight up. Hey, that was a fool idea. It ain't gonna work. But if it does work, then, you know, consider it. I'm not trying to tell you gotta do it. Only thing you gotta do is eat, sleep, and die. You know, you don't even have to eat. You don't really have to sleep. Only thing you gotta do is die. You know, some people say pay taxes, but I know people that don't pay taxes. There's nowhere in the Constitution that says you have to pay taxes, so that's not a must requirement. So anyway, that's a whole different topic. I'm not even gonna get on that. But anyway, so overall, I think just being an owner-operator, the hardest thing is managing your business. Managing your loads, managing your time, managing your fuel, managing your maintenance. You know, the super singles, you know, yeah, they could be better for you if you're in an area that has not as much inclement weather. You got to keep the tread on them just like everything else. They ride just smooth. If you're going down the road, you can't really feel if you're on the super singles or duals. You can't feel the difference when you're driving down the road. The only time you notice a difference with them is during inclement weather, or maybe snow or ice or something like that, because if you get a blowout, or if you're driving down the grooves of a dual tires and you're super single, you're teetering a little bit. But if you get a blowout, you're driving on the rim. Whereas a dual, you know, you can replace one tire and the other tire is still helping you to live to a truck stop. So, I mean, super singles, I mean, it's less tires that you got to buy, but the tire cost itself is more expensive. The rim is more expensive, you know, so, I mean, it just depends on how, you know, preference, really. Another thing about the fuel, you got to watch your speed, man. You got to watch your speed. You got to keep your truck at your operating RPMs. You know, if you keep your truck at your operating, your sweet spot, you'll do good on the RPMs. But if you're up there higher than what your sweet spot is, you're burning fuel out. If you're lower than your sweet spot, you're burning fuel out. So you got to find your sweet spot and stick with it. Schedule your maintenance accordingly. I think when you have your money in your business account and you separate your business from your personal, and what I mean by that is, if you know you're going to pay yourself $1,000 a week, and you got all your money coming into one account, and you got your money there, the first thing you're going to do is pay yourself. That's the rule of thumb. Always pay yourself first. Pay yourself. You give yourself your $1,000. Now you got the rest of your money. The second thing you do is pay your fuel. If you want to pay your fuel every week, you put your $800 or your $900 back in there. That's fine. Or you can wait and pay that at the end of the month, or you can pay it at the end of the 2 weeks, or whatever. However you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? But the number one thing is pay yourself first, and then pay your fuel, and then you pay for your expenses. I mean, your expenses are already gone. So you pay for your maintenance. Okay? If you don't have any maintenance that's needed, leave the money alone. Leave it in the bank. Let it build up. You know what I'm saying? Leave it alone. If you got something to do with it, then do what you need to do with it. Keep the receipt, and in that way, if you swipe in your card to do it, you have a registry. It's on your registry also that you went to TA truck stop and got 4 tires put on. And you swipe your card, it's gonna be right there. TA, $1,600. And hey, I spent it on tires. That's on your account. And you have the inventory to back it up to show proof that you did it. If you got a cell phone bill that comes out, you got proof that you paid it. You know what I'm saying? Because there it is, If you have like a certain thing with a certain like everyday payments coming out or something like that, that's business-wise, that's business-oriented, you just keep that bill and have it sent to your tax people. That way they can write it off. But the number one thing that I challenge everybody with now is to find a way to get these companies out of your paycheck, to get their hand out of your check as soon and fast as possible. If you need to get a fuel card, to do it, look up NASTC or NATSC, NASTC is what it's called. It's a National Association of Small Trucking Companies. They're out of Tennessee, based out of Tennessee. You can Google them and find them. Call those people and talk to them. They'll give you some very, very valuable information. Okay. They're also at, I think it's www.nastc.com, I believe. I would just say Google it until you find the right one. But if you put in national, not national, what was it? Yeah, national accounts for small trucking companies or something like that, then you'll be able to find them. All right. Another thing is, just with your time management and your people management and all that stuff, is you got to be able to get a calendar and write this stuff down. If you don't have a calendar, if you don't have nothing to write it down with, it's kind of hard to visualize and see things on a sheet of paper. Google, if you have a Google Gmail account, if you got a Gmail account, you have a Google Calendar. It's on your phone. You can go on your phone, hit the plus symbol, add an event. Put your load information right there. Put where you're picking up at, where it's going. What day it's picking up on and what day it delivers on. You know what I'm saying? And then put down in the notes, put how much it's paying you, how many miles it's driving. That way, when you look at your calendar, you can see if you're covered and you can see how you're running. A visual representation shows you how you're working. You'll be able to use that to show, hey, look, this whole week right here, I ran pretty good till I got over here, bam. Punched me in the mouth, I had to sit still for 2 days. All right, cool, what's going on over here? And then you put on there, hey, I had to take a 34-hour reset, I was off work, yada, yada, yada. Things change, and go on about your business, all right? Also, you'll be able to print that computer sheet out, that calendar printout. You can print that out and show it for per diem purposes. That you were gone working, this is when you were off, this is when you were at home, this is, there's multiple tools that you can utilize out there. In today's time, it's electronics, man. There's multiple ways of doing stuff. So all I suggest is utilize everything that you can. So yo, check this out. It's your boy Pharaoh. I'm about to jump off here real quick, and I'm gonna upload this on the YouTube. If you guys have any more questions, or if you got some more items that you want to talk about, definitely hit me up. Joe Walsh. I hope that answers some of your questions. If you have more, please don't hesitate to find out, to ask. One of these days, I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to hold another driver over here, and I'm going to see if we can do a conference thing and talk about it and see if some of the ideas that I got make sense. But this is your boy Pharaoh. I'm out of here. Peace.